and a crisp dive into the future. I would say the interplay of technology and product management is essentially what we are looking at here. And technology essentially provides the disruptors. The disruptors, they enable the creation of products. And you might have also heard about this term called law of diffusion of innovation. So a technology is, on its own, doesn't really kind of solve a problem. It basically provides disruptors and enablers. And it is how you use these enablers that create innovative products and innovative ideas, and certainly innovative companies. So example would be, a classic example is steam engine coming in, creating faster trains, which enabled long distance travel. It also enabled a lot of other things as well, like commercial transportation and those kind of things. We have iPhone coming in, giving us the App Store, and then it creates a whole multi-billion or maybe multi-trillion-dollar industries about the apps. We have 3D printing, for instance, which use 3D printers, and it is disrupting very, very heavily the industries around manufacturing and architecture. You have NFC, which is near field communication. Some of you, especially the electronics guys, would know this, which is disrupting the payments, the way payments are done. And this is definitely disrupting the retail space. So some of you would have heard about Amazon Go, which is a concept where you don't need to pay anything in the store. Your phone itself is the wallet, and that really kind of enables you to build this business. Now looking into a few other things. So this is, I would say, the most we talked about, like AI and ML, and I think it's already disrupting user experience. And I have witnessed this firsthand. Like when I started my product career 7-8 years ago, we probably didn't have very strong AI and ML models which would help us personalize and automate experiences. So think about what I do right now at Spotify. Like I create the onboarding experiences for more than 300 million users. Now, think about that and think about how I, sitting in my office, would be able to kind of really personalize it to a meaningful, this onboarding experience to any meaningful level for so many users. And that's where AI and ML comes in. And it definitely has evolved very rapidly in the last few years. And you would see a lot of, I certainly expect a lot of you guys who would probably not take product management, but would go on pursue more core engineering to kind of get into this, especially folks from computer science. I really expect some of you would be taking this up more seriously. And yeah, of course, we talk about virtual reality, and almost all of us know that gaming and architecture and even warfare, modern warfare, is actually getting disrupted. There are a lot of startups based out of different countries like Israel, which are actually creating these products which simulate a war-like scenario, so that your soldiers are well versed and they rehearse their war drills. It's actually very, very fascinating to kind of see some of these products getting built because of these different technologies. And yeah, of course, there's this big question mark because we have only kind of scratched the surface in terms of these applications of these technologies, but there are so many other technologies which are waiting to be built or which are currently being built. But what this means in the short term for us as PMs is that it gives us better tools for our product management. So you might have heard about design and prototyping tools. You might have heard about project management tools. And a very classic example here is Atlassian. Almost all its products are about project management, Jira. And some of you guys might have also heard about the product called Asana, which helps to manage the product or the project better. Even this particular forum that we are using today, AirMeet itself is a tool which I'm sure can help in better collaboration, which is probably needed for product managers. And of course, when you talk about user research, it's very important to kind of plug into some of these latest tools and use them. And yeah, this is the law of diffusion of innovation, so we can probably skip it for now. But this is a fascinating read as well. So I would strongly encourage you guys to kind of take some time and read this on how a technology really proliferates into an ecosystem. And then finally, you as a PM, and I've made a note of some of the FAQs, so I anticipated that some of your questions might be about this. So I made a list of these questions. So first is, of course, do I need to be an engineer? Not relevant for you guys, but do I have an advantage if I am one? I think this is certainly relevant. And my answer is no. You don't have an advantage. Yes, you are more likely to imbibe the scientific method. And so that gives you an advantage when you are executing as an engineer. Certainly, I've seen this. I work with product managers who were singers, like band singers, proper band singers, on some singing on Broadway. And I've also worked with product managers who are like PhDs, studying and maybe teaching as well. I don't know, but yeah. So you could see that there's a wide spectrum of people who become product managers. You don't really have to be an engineer, but you certainly need to have a scientific approach towards your work. I'm poor in design skills. Is it a deal breaker? Now, this is one of those questions. Wherever I've kind of gone and spoken about my ideas of product management, everywhere I've been asked this question. So I kind of now have this as a straightforward FAQs itself. Is it a deal breaker? Well, I would say no, but work on it. I think that's like a generic advice. So yeah, please work on it. You have to build things which people will kind of consume. So really important. I'm poor with data. Can I become a PM? Unlikely. You really need to be good at data. You can't build meaningful products at a large scale if you are not good with understanding data. That doesn't mean you need to know SQL or you don't need to know Python, those kind of things. I mean, some people do know, but yeah, it's not necessary at all. What you really need to know is to be able to interpret data and understand trends and make product changes accordingly. Why product management? Again, this is very important, and some of the questions which I've received from people, not from your campus, but yeah, maybe other places, is why should I become a PM or why should I not become a PM? I would say it's a personal choice, but some of the motivators for people are money. Some people think product managers earn a lot of money, which is both true and not true. Depends on which company you're working for, whether you are having your own startup or not, those kind of things. Some people are in it for money, for impact as well, and some for power. I would say if you're really in it for the impact that you can create, I would say that's probably a better vision or better objective. But yeah, it's down to each one of you what really motivates you. You can get all three of them by being a product manager for sure. Different types of product managers, I've already covered this, so I'm going to skip through this one. How to enter product management? Well, you have internships, you have campus placements, you can also create a startup or join a startup. And how to choose where to work, again, very important. You really need to have a strong alignment with the vision of the company, and you really need to kind of see what type of role is being offered to you, whether it's a B2B or B2C, whether it's a platform versus user-facing role, etc. And you really need to make some really tough choices here, because the choices you make when you're at the beginning of your career will more or less shape how you would kind of become, what kind of product manager you will become, and which part of product management you will become very strong in. So it's very important to be very conscious here, especially for you guys. And just putting it all together, product management is difficult to teach, as you could already see. We thought about spending 35 minutes, but yeah, we probably spent 45 minutes plus, and we still have discussed maybe 0.1% of product management or even less. And why it's difficult also is because it is still evolving. You think about the iPhone example, the iOS example, it was launched in 2007. So it's been 13 years since, I would say, some of the more recent trends in software product management emerged. Yeah, so it is still evolving. And yeah, my perspective is certainly not the last word. This is my perspective on how I see some of these different aspects. But please expose yourself to other product managers' thoughts as well. You could find plenty of them on YouTube, and you can find plenty of them on Medium and multiple blogs and social media channels. I've seen a lot of these product conferences and product meetups happening, where a lot of these things are also discussed from multiple perspectives. So it's something I would encourage you guys to do. Well, if you want to be a PM, my only submission is you need to learn to structure your thoughts. You need to learn to structure your way of working and simplify as much as you can. And I would say learn by doing. This is something which I started doing when I was not a product manager. I actually started doing teardowns. So you take an application or take any website or anything or any product that you want and just tear it down. And when I say tear it down, not physically tear it down, you basically would want to kind of analyze how the onboarding works, how the sign-up process works. You want to understand how the home screen looks like, or why those choices have been made. So it's about observing things, finding gaps if you can, but it's also about trying to reverse engineer and understand why this product manager or a group of product managers would have built it this way. Very important to kind of look at that. And yeah, there are multiple resources. I talked about Hooked, which is a book by Neil Ayal. I would say it's a must read. Everyone should at least go through this book for sure. And then there's internet, of course, because there are so many other resources I can't really practically put them here.